Welcome back to Team Talk ESPN Radio 1017. The team, Joe O'Neill, in today with Sam Hauser. And as promised, we're bringing in Dr. Miles Harvey. He's a middle school educator and esports coach at James Monroe Middle School. And Dr. Harvey, thank you so much for joining us. You know, I saw a clip of you on Channel 13 over the course of the summer. I've been trying to get you in, and this was a perfect time because there was an NMAA announcement yesterday, and I was like, let's parlay this together. So you've got a really unique perspective on this because you yourself are an athlete. I mean, you played hockey for the University of New Mexico, and now you're coaching esports. Tell us why it's so important to you to see the growth of these esports, if you would please, Dr. Harvey.
I think providing esports to children is probably one of the most important services we can do, especially now that we are virtual. Battle of the Books isn't that far from Battle of the Video Games. And to be quite honest, the best player on my Rocket League team is a star football player who can't play right now. I mean, that's what we're doing for the community. We're providing a place for these kids to excel, to learn, to critically think, even when they don't have a place to go run, do drills like suicide ladders.
Well, you know all about those yourself, and you obviously know all about this esports phenomenon because it's in the high schools throughout the state, and now it's gravitating to the middle schools like at James Monroe where you're at. You're saying that you envision it even getting into the elementary school levels. Why is this so important for learning, for critical thinking, Doctor?
You know, the thing is, there's so many different ways to make sense of the world in this digital age. And I feel like education has kind of lost itself in the way they connect with students. I think when you bring what kids do at home and you bring it back to school, you bring the excitement of, you know, playing games in your living room, you bring that into the classroom. You get kids connected to their science class, their math class. People go, why Rocket League? Why video games? I go, well, why learning anything then? I mean, if it's STEM to STEAM, I mean, how more specific do you want? These kids are on a path to undefined learning outcomes and jobs that might not even exist yet. I mean, that's how prolific this is.
Well, another thing that was prolific was the interest level that was there at James Monroe Middle School. I mean, about 1,100 kids at the school. You had like 70 try out for the team, and you had to whittle it down to 20 guys and gals, right? I mean, that must have been a tough deal for you, man.
I mean, yeah, how do you think the other kids feel? But, I mean, imagine the kids who make the team, and now they're one of the top, teams in the country. I mean, to be honest, I would say New Mexico is probably in the forefront of the entire North American esports team. I mean, we're doing things that other school districts have only started thinking about. I think it's fascinating to see this cultural disparity between what other places are doing and what we're doing and what results we're already seeing as an investment, probably like 3 years into this by APS.
We're talking with Dr. Miles Harvey. He's a middle school educator, and you're also a professor at UNM too, right, Dr. Harvey?
That's correct. I work with pre-service teachers, people going into student teaching, wondering how to teach. So it's actually kind of nice to be able to work with people going into the field. It's much easier to change the mindset than working with those who have been in it for 20 years. I say change comes from the beginning, not necessarily in the middle or at the end.
All right, and then, like I said, it's a combination of guys and gals, but one way or the other. And you've been around team sports your whole life, Dr. Harvey. This is every bit of this team camaraderie with the esports, as you see in all the other sports, right?
I mean, honestly, Rocket League esports to me is like hockey and soccer combined. I've never seen such continuous play with such high intensity. It's awesome. I mean, I am trying to fuse basketball weaving drills with hockey diagrams, and I'm trying to explain things three-dimensionally. There's no whiteboard anymore that works for this. I need like a three-dimensional whiteboard now these days.
Unbelievable. Well, one of the neat things, too, and I'm going to bring Dusty Young on. He's with the New Mexico Activities Association. But, the fact that esports as part of the NMAA is something that is a really neat deal for you. And by the way, when you're saying that New Mexico is amongst the leaders in the country when it comes to that, that warms my heart because we don't hear that enough. But being part of the New Mexico Activities Association is such a big deal for you as well, Dr. Harvey.
Oh, having an affiliation that kind of solidifies all of the practices, ensures that everything is fair and equitable, I think is very important. And I think when you hear from Dusty, they spent a lot of time over there trying to make sure that esports is for everyone. And with his announcements and his updates, I think that will speak to the ideas and interests of Albuquerque citizens.
All right. Well, hey, I thank you so much. I appreciate you. Continued success with esports and everything going on over at James Monroe. Thank you so much, Dr. Harvey, for joining us this afternoon here on ESPN Radio 101.7 The Team.
Hey, it's a pleasure. Thank you.